everyone, I'm Smashley, and in this video we're going to talk about taking accountability for your own mental health. If you are new here, smash that like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment below. On this channel we talk all things spiritual awakening, the light and the dark, so we can become aware and integrate, because that's necessary to become the version of you that can live out your infinite potential. And I'm going to slap a trigger warning on this video. Okay, trigger warning, because I know mental health issues are serious and it's very difficult when you're in the midst of it to see your way out of it or to see hope or anything like that. But that's why I wanted to make this video. And it's being triggered by a comment that someone made to me yesterday, and they said, this is why men struggle with mental health, or this is why men have mental health issues. And I said men have mental health issues because they're not doing anything to take responsibility for them. And someone was like, that's ridiculous. But this isn't specific to any gender, okay? Not men, not women, not non-binary, whatever gender you're claiming to be. This is for everybody. Nobody's coming to save you. Okay, when it comes to mental health, you have to care enough about yourself and your life to start making changes to improve your mental health. You can't rely on the system, okay? The system is set up to keep you a patient. They want you on drugs. They want you on medication. They want you in their system, okay? And trust me, I know. All right. I was depressed. Most of my life, I've attempted to unalive myself over 30 times. Only a handful of them were very serious. I've been involuntarily institutionalized in psychiatric hospitals. I have checked myself in to psychiatric intervention centers and did a bunch of overnights in the hospitals and stuff because I would have psychotic episodes. Every couple months for 2 weeks, I would be living in a delusional reality and actually be in the midst of trying to manage my life as Ashley while having a psychotic episode. And so I would be so afraid of what I was capable of that I would check myself in. And I was diagnosed with obviously complex PTSD and clinical depression and borderline personality disorder. I met every single criteria for borderline personality disorder, and now I meet none of them. I'm not depressed. I'm not hopeless. I actually love life, even in the midst of feeling negative emotions or having struggles and stuff. I actually really enjoy being alive now, and I love who I am as a person and learning how to love myself in these deeper levels of like self-love, and it's just such an amazing journey. And the reason why I pulled myself out of that pit of despair and hopelessness is because I pulled myself out of the pit of despair and helplessness. Now, what led me to this was my sister changed her diet, and she was telling me, oh my God, all these things about the food and what's in the food and all the chemicals, and I thought she was nuts, right? But then I got so physically sick, I could not get out of bed. I was sleeping for days at a time. I had all these other things going on that I won't get into, but I literally thought I was about to die. I was like, something has to change, or I don't know what's going on here. And I went to the doctors, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and they tried all these different medications. And same with psychiatric medications. I've been on a bunch of them, and I went through that whole thing with talk therapy and all that. But I finally decided to change my diet. And when I changed my diet and started exercising, it literally changed my life. But you have to want it bad enough to start making the small changes in the beginning. But acting like you're a victim to your own mental health is not going to get you anywhere. Acting like it's someone else's responsibility to do something about your mental health is not going to get you anywhere. Posting about mental health on social media while you're not doing anything to make any changes is not going to get you anywhere. You have to be the one to decide, I am sick of living like this. What changes can I make? And you can't expect to improve your mental health while eating like shit. It's just, that's real talk. And obviously we know exercise helps produce neurotransmitters. You can start with literally 3 minutes a day. Studies show that just 3 minutes a day of moderate intensity exercise starts to change the way your brain produces dopamine. But guess what? Neurotransmitters require specific nutrients for your body to produce them. So if you're malnourished, if you're eating fast food and junk food all the time, your body can't produce the neurotransmitters. You literally need nutrients. And on top of nutrients, all those chemicals and everything you're putting in your body, what do you think is going to be happening within your body? It's not going to be functioning optimally with all that crap. So that is where I started. Diet and exercise. Just that will give you such significant improvement in your mental health. And another thing I will tell you about how important diet is to mental health is that literally one meal can completely disrupt your gut microbiome. And I've had this happen to me. I changed my diet. I was sticking with it and being consistent, and I went to a family event and ate one meal and started to have symptoms of a psychotic episode. So yes, diet is extremely important to mental health. And obviously there's all kinds of other lifestyle changes that you can make. But that's not what the point of this video is. I mean, you can do your research. You can Google it, how to improve your mental health naturally. Obviously praying and meditating on it, like, ask to be guided to what behaviors you need to change. Screen time is a big one. Avoiding trying to avoid it is not going to make it better. You have to actively choose to take accountability for your own mental health. And that's the point of this video. Okay, we have to realize that the system's not here to help you really. It's a facade. You have to want it for yourself. And I know that's difficult when you're in the pits of despair and hopelessness, but I don't know where you're at and what's it going to take for you. I just knew, like, the last couple times I attempted to unalive myself, I was just like, I cannot live like this anymore. I absolutely cannot. Like, obviously I'm not going to, because the things that I did, there's like no way on earth somebody should have lived through them, and I did. And so I just knew I have to make these changes. I have to stick with it. I have to put the effort in. I have to care about my own mental health and take accountability. You're not a victim of anything. If you are not if you're not implementing behavior changes and doing the little things to start, and then you can stack habits and build on that, and like reading books, watching podcasts, listening to stuff, like learning how to actually change your behaviors, getting in there and feeling and processing the emotions, all of that, like the beginning stuff is surface level. It will help, but you have to get in there and be willing to face and feel the energy of the emotions that are in your body and actually do the somatic work, the healing the nervous system, sitting and actually facing your emotion instead of covering them up with band-aids, coping skills. So, yes, I really hope if you're struggling with your mental health and you've made it to the point of this video that you take an honest assessment. Honestly assess, why don't I care enough about myself and my own life to make these changes? And stop expecting the magical mental health fairy to come drop in and save you. Well, if I share this meme on mental health online, then I guess I'm doing something for my mental health. That's not how it works. You can't expect other people to change around you so that you're happier. That's not how it works. You have to decide. Make the decision and ask to be guided, and start changing your behaviors. And then once you realize you can't stick with the behavior change because it's actually covering up energy that's in your body, that's when you'll get into the somatic energy releasing. So please decide to take accountability for your own mental health. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.